Welcome to Coffee and RPGs, everyone. My name is Solomon SK, and today we go over the second part of my top single-player games for 2022 and 2023. I'll have a link to part 1 down in the description below if you want to go ahead and take a look at that after you watch this video, as the games themselves aren't in any particular order. With that being said, if you guys got your coffee ready or beverage of choice, let's go ahead and cover these games together. Cheers to you guys.
Wake up, son.
Now, the first game in our list is none other than Lies of P, and if it does look a little familiar, that's because it's inspired by none other than Pinocchio. Now, that's sort of an understatement just because it has that dark fantasy twist to things as well. Now, to those of you who are fans of the Elden Ring and the Dark Souls series, you're going to be fans of this game because this does have the Souls-like tag. As it says here, that Lies of P is an action Souls-like game set in a dark Belle Epoque. I believe that's how you say it. It's a French word, so I do apologize. Also, another tag here that this game has that you don't see a lot often, and I wish we did, is the steampunk tag, as well as atmospheric, story-rich, open world, horror, and dark fantasy. Another reason why a lot of people are looking forward to this game is because it does have that Victorian era look and style and feel, something that you don't see a whole lot in video games these days as well.
Madame Lestrange, how may I help you today?
I wish to enter my vault.
Would you mind presenting your wand?
And why should I do that?
They know Hermione's an imposter. They've been warned. Imperio.
Very well. If you will follow me.
This next game possibly doesn't need another introduction, but I'm gonna say it anyways. We have Hogwarts Legacy next in this list. As it says here, experience Hogwarts in the 1800s. Your character is a student who holds the key to an ancient secret that threatens to tear the wizarding world apart, make allies, battle dark wizards, and decide the fate of the wizarding world. Now, I know multiplayer is an option that a lot of these games will have, but this particular game will actually have no multiplayer whatsoever. It's solely a single player game, and other tags include action adventure, fantasy, obviously, magic, even more obvious, as well as open world and character customization. You know, I am admittedly not that familiar with Harry Potter, but just judging from the hype this game gathered right when it was announced, I'm predicting it's going to be a pretty big game. To those of you who are fans of Tarantino, especially when it comes to things like Grindhouse, this next game might be for you. Next, we got Wanted Dead, and this is supposed to be a high-octane third-person action game featuring some of the most spectacular melee combat as well as exciting gunplay. This game is also supposed to take place in a dark science fiction version of Hong Kong. Other than that, we actually don't have a whole lot of information with this game other than the fact that it actually looks like Devil May Cry on lots and lots of caffeine. I'm not exactly sure why, but whenever I think of our next game that we have on our list here called Evil West, I think of Gungrave. Maybe because they both have protagonists that are very quiet but also very strong looking, with a huge amount of arsenals and just completely just merciless when it comes to defeating their enemies and whatnot. But that alone makes me really want to play this game. Now obviously this game will be taking place during the Wild Wild West cowboy days, and that's something that I'm really looking forward to as well. This game will also have an optional co-op feature as well if you want to go ahead and play with your friends. We also have other tags such as demons, vampires, horror, violent, as well as beat 'em up, which is really interesting because when I think of beat 'em ups, I think of a side-scrolling sort of Final Fight, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, even Double Dragon style games. But clearly you beat a lot of people up just from that trailer alone. The next game that we have in our list is none other than Crysis 4, and I couldn't tell you what this game is about because I haven't played it in what feels like in over a decade. Heck, I didn't even know there was a remastered version of the older entries of this IP. Now, according to this article from Looper.com, this game is in its super early stages of its development, and so we're not going to see a whole lot of information, unfortunately, at least not anytime soon. Matter of fact, they're still hiring people for this game. But the reason why this game was so popular in the first place was because of its gorgeous and absolute beautiful graphics, so much so that there was no hardware at the time that actually could run it at its full potential. Thus, we have the meme, "Can it run Crysis?" Now, I don't know if that's sort of the thing that this game is still trying to be known for, because at the time, maybe we'll have an RTX 9000 or something like that, and you absolutely need to have that card to run it. Who knows? Now, this next game in our list is going to be for somebody who are huge fans of Square Enix, and matter of fact, you could probably call this a JRPG, even though it doesn't look or feel anything like a typical JRPG, much the same way technically Elden Ring is also a JRPG, which isn't a bad thing, you know? You just gotta shake things up a little bit here and there. But enter the game Forspoken, and you play as a character called Frey. And not only do you have your typical RPG gameplay and mechanics for this game, maybe similar to what you see in other Square Enix games that you see in Final Fantasy, but it also has parkour as part of its tag, so very maneuverable as well. You also have the cinematic tag here, which probably complements other tags such as lore-rich, story-rich, and single-player immersive action RPG. And you can also pre-purchase this game right now for additional cosmetics in the game without an additional cost.
How do you plead?
Not guilty.
Lies! She dies!
So this next game looks really interesting, and I'm looking forward to this game despite the fact that I have no idea what it's about or what it even is. I don't think anyone really does. But yeah, this next game in question is called Pragmata. And despite the fact that a lot of people are speculating what kind of game this is and where it takes place, what we can do, I think probably the most illuminating description of this game is the fact that it looks like something Hideo Kojima would make, despite the fact, as far as we can tell, he has nothing to do with this game. But yeah, that's pretty much it, unfortunately. So if you want to keep up to date with everything that is Pragmata and other wonderful games that we cover in this channel, please consider subscribing as well as liking this video, because that definitely helps with the algorithms, and that would help me a lot as well too. So definitely would appreciate it. Now, to those of you guys who are fans of Deliver Us the Moon, there's a sequel coming out here called Deliver Us Mars. Now, this is supposed to be an atmospheric sci-fi adventure taking you on a suspense-filled high-stakes mission to recover Ark colony ships stolen by a mysterious outworld alien species, I would assume. Matter of fact, from what I can remember from the first game, it really made you feel isolated. It even gave you sort of that horror look and feel to this game, because it's just you alone out there in space trying to save humanity. I mean, no pressure, right? Now, you could also play this in first person as well as third person. We also have other tags such as puzzle platformer, post-apocalyptic thriller, and emotional. That's actually a tag I've never seen before, which is really interesting. Now, this next game in our list is giving me a lot of Elder Scroll vibes, and that's not necessarily a bad thing in my opinion. It's much more darker, and if you're a fan of King Arthur, good news, because this game actually takes a lot of inspiration from the Camelot lore and legends. And so yeah, this game is called Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon, and you're going to see this game share a lot of tags very similar to what you see in Elder Scrolls such as Skyrim, first starting off with open world, multiple endings, choices matter, non-linear, stealth, and the list goes on and on and on. And so yeah, a lot of good things to look forward to this one. You guys already know that I'm a huge mech fan, so I had to include this game, but there is a slight caveat. This next game in our list is none other than Gundam Evolution, but this will be a free-to-play game. So we all know what that means. If it's a free-to-play game, it's going to have a cash shop with microtransactions, and so I assume it will play very similarly to the way Genshin Impact plays, where yes, you have to be online, but you can still play by yourself, and that's how Bandai Namco is able to profit off of this game, by selling you loot boxes via gacha mechanics and whatnot. This game is supposed to be a fast-paced and an immersive team-based first-person shooter game where you pilot the mobile suits from the smash hit Gundam anime. Yes, that is amazing. We have other tags such as tactical robots, obviously, as well as character customizations, online co-op, and again, you have single player down here in the bottom. We even have hero shooter here as a tag because of the Gundams themselves. I really want to play Heavy Arms. That's always been my favorite Gundam. I love Daka. And lastly, we have this game here called Metal Hellsinger, and this probably goes without saying, but definitely getting a lot of Doom and Quake vibes with this one. And what's really interesting is that the publisher for this game is Funcom, and I actually haven't played a Funcom game since The Secret World, which was an MMO about a decade ago, and I think that game went offline if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, long time ago. But anyways, if we go ahead and look at our tags, we've got things like demons, music, obviously, as you heard the metal music going on in the background, and a female protagonist. And so you have female Doom guy, if that makes sense. Atmospheric, dark fantasy, obviously, cinematic, stylized, rhythm, combat, and all this other good stuff that you typically associate with Doom and whatnot. Before I let you guys go, please consider subscribing to this channel as well as liking this video to help out the algorithms to keep up to date with everything that we've covered so far in today's video. And so that's going to wrap up today's video. Definitely be on the lookout for part 3, maybe even a part 4 and 5 for some of the more popular single player games to expect for the year 2022 and 2023. I'll finally let you guys go. Hope you guys have a blessed night, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers again, everyone.